Tasting 1-1. Okay. A little hot, a little hot. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BLU. BLU, B-L-U, yes, as in blue jazz. Okay, everybody. BLU, as you may or may not know, little reverb there, man. BLU is more than a color. That's right. In the past 431 days that we've been celebrating this blue jazz here, we've let people know that BLU, B-L-U, is more than a color. It's an acronym. Acro. B-L-U is simply below you. Right below you. And that's what we do here, is we just take it down a notch. We take it right down into that cool subterranean place, that cool spot, that chill zone, and we get into the jazz groove. Why jazz? Why jazz? Because jazz is rooted in the classics. It's rooted in the standards. It's an American art form that makes great room for improvisation. Improvisational elements on top of the classics and the standards to make it all relevant for a whole new generation of idea people. And that's what jazz opens the door for. And that's what we're doing here. And I'm all excited because a lot of you folks, I think, here are coming here for your first time. Is that true? Who's a first-timer here? Wow. Wow. Hooray. Hooray for celebrating the arts. And that's really what's going on here in downtown Akron. Yeah. We are celebrating the performing, the visual, the arts. So it's exciting when you have a plan come together and you get so many great new faces together. Now, all you new faces, I know all of you, you're all my friends anyhow, but I'm glad you came out to our jazz club. That makes us feel good here. Okay, so what we're doing tonight is we are celebrating big ideas and how to implement them. How to take the clouds of ambiguity and turn them into an opportunity. Taking on a big concept to deliver, much like Ian has delivered tonight by getting all of you great people in this room together. How about it for Ian Schwarber? Celebrating the classics and the standards in an improvisational way. This man is one who makes a difference. And he gathers around himself wise counsel. Wise counsel gathering together to help edify a community. That's Ian Schwarber. Thank you for putting this together tonight. Welcome to Blue Jazz. Hope you'll enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony, very much. Let's hear it for Tony. You guys are going to hear a little more from Tony later tonight. I want to begin by thanking everyone here. This is an extraordinary turnout. We did not expect this many people tonight, but it is absolutely a testament to the reputation of BLU, the reputation we've tried to begin building with the Excel Center at the University of Akron, and the reputation I think you all would agree on getting together with big idea people because you know incredible things will happen. The Excel Center is a very new thing at the University of Akron. In fact, it launches March 2nd, which is next month. But we wanted to get together first with the community to bring together the people that, you know, in this field, one of the terms that comes up a lot is early adopters. This seems to be the early adopters of an idea that may be long overdue at the University of Akron, but it's here now. And that's the Excel Center. one quick thing about the Excel Center, and we can talk about that later because there's many things to do tonight, and I don't want to keep you before the incredible jazz music. But the Excel Center is a new platform that President Scarborough announced back in May, and then Jeff Hoffman came on in July to begin making real, that introduces our students to a new array of opportunities for experiential learning built upon the incredible ones that were already there, but taken to the next level by making an indelible impact on the community at every turn and getting students the opportunity to build their networks while still pursuing their degrees. We're going to do that with community events like this. We're going to do that with better and greater internships and co-ops. We're going to do that 100 different ways. But we are happy that on the first Wednesday of every month, you guys will come back and join us here at BLU for BLUprints to Excel. Every month, we're going to address one concept that we think innovators, no matter what your walk of life, innovators face regularly. This month, we decided to start with embracing risk and ambiguity as opportunity. There's not an innovator in this room that hasn't faced a risk and thought, am I afraid of that? Or is this a chance for me to do something that I should have done in the first place? Or something in between? So, without further ado, I want to introduce to you my very good friend who has done many things. Chief among them in my life is choose to come to the University of Akron to begin building the Excel Center. Before that, he's done things like lead a team that built Expedia, co-found Priceline.com, start some of the most well-known brands, and lead some of the biggest companies in the world. But right now, he's spending his time here in Akron because he fell in love with this community and he fell in love with this university. So ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Hoffman.
This is a music mic. You know what? I don't think I'm authorized for that. I'll use this one, and we'll do a little intro why we're here tonight, and then we'll get right to our guests to talk about it. But I want to say something. First of all, I want to thank all of you for spending your time on your own time after work for joining us. We are thrilled to see so many people here, and I'm going to explain to you in a minute why we think that's important and why we're doing this in the first place. But before I do, I just wanted to say something to Tony Tropy in this club. Tony's love for jazz built this club, and I just want to tell you that it's one of my favorite genres as well. And a friend of mine wrote a book, a very close friend of mine, wrote a book called Jazzocracy, which is the relationship, literally the relationship of jazz and its history to democracy and to the history of other forms of music. And we fell in love with jazz so much that last year he said, let's produce a jazz album. So we produced a jazz album ourselves last year. And I know this sounds a little bit crazy because I'm actually an engineer by trade, but we won a Grammy. Last year, our album won the Grammy for Best Jazz Album. So I still got to represent Northeast Ohio on the red carpet because people were asking me where I was from and where we came in from and everything else after we won that. So I love jazz. And Tony, thank you again for creating this club. I think it's a great addition to Akron. So why are we doing this? Why did we start? And to be honest, this was Ian's idea to do these blueprint nights. And Tony and a lot of the community pitched together to help. But I just want to explain why we're doing this before we get started, and then I'll tell you what the topic is. We're doing this because of the importance of community, because of the fact that this is a moment in time for all of us to be involved in the future of Akron. There's so much new here. The timing could not be better to do something that makes a difference, to literally design the next generation and the whole future of Akron. We have a new mayor. We have a new president of the university. We have a new city council president. We have new everything. We have a whole new generation of young people that look like, and there are a lot of them here tonight, that look like no generation before them. People raised on technology and social media. We have a new generation of customers and consumers for all the businesses in here. There has never been a better moment. We have the perfect storm to make change, to do something different, to design what tomorrow's Akron is going to look like. And somebody, I did an interview recently, not related to this. I just came back from a U.S. State Department trip to North Africa. And I don't remember if it was Forbes or Bloomberg or one of the big media things. But they asked me where I've been spending my time, and I said, with you guys in Akron. And they asked me, what's your impression of Akron? And I will tell you what I said, because this is what I really believe. and why we're all here tonight, and certainly why I'm here. Akron is small enough to get things done and big enough to make a difference. And there just aren't very many cities I would say that about. And I think it's fantastic. And I want to make sure everybody recognizes that opportunity. The community's in this room. We can rally the community together. We can actually get things done, which a lot of other cities wrapped around the resources of a big university just can't do. But we're big enough to make a difference. We're big enough to here to create models of education, of commerce, of living, of what a city should look like and what a university should look like, that the rest of the world one day will say, we want to do it the Akron way, right? This is our chance to create the Akron way. That's why we're doing this. The reason we wanted to have community nights with everybody in here is because it takes a community. It takes a university, it takes students, it takes faculty, it takes politicians, it takes small business owners, it takes the big business anchors and tenants, the big companies around here. Everybody working together can create something. So when these reporters were asking me, why are you spending so much time here? It's the same reason I hope you're here tonight, because we have a chance to actually get something done. We have a chance to do something. We'll look back on one day, and when other cities want to do things the Akron way, we'll be the ones in this room that created that. I think that's a phenomenal opportunity. The first time I met Tony Troby, whose club we're in, he took me for a little walk, Ian and I on a walk, and every piece of this city he pointed to and he had a vision for. One day that will be this, and that will be this, and that will be this. Everyone in here needs to do that. Whatever your part is, if your part is education, design the future of education. If your part is water and sewer, design the future of water and sewer in this city. Whatever you do, be part of this solution and be part of this moment in time when we can all do this. So our topic, we're going to do this the first, what day is this, anyone? Third. What day is this? Is this Wednesday? Sorry. I travel too much. They all blend. We're going to do this the first Wednesday of every month. This is the first one. We're thrilled that you guys came to join us. But the idea is to have a community conversation about something that matters. The idea is to talk to real people in our community that achieve real results. You're going to hear from some of them tonight and figure out how they did it. And then the real idea is when you leave this room to do something about it. We want you to leave inspired and say, I'm going to do something like that person did, but let's do it together. Again, I'll repeat this. We are small enough to get stuff done and big enough to make a difference. Let's not waste that opportunity. So tonight's topic, each monthly meeting will have a topic. Tonight's topic is risk and ambiguity. And let me say something about risk, and then we'll bring up our first guest. And the format is we're going to talk to a few guests about how they dealt with risk and how they took chances and how they succeeded. And then we're going to just do an open Q&A with you guys. And then after that, we're going to be treated to some jazz. So let's talk about risk and what is risk. I will tell you, I'll be fair to say I'm really biased. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And I saw a sign one day, a lot of you might have heard this, that said that being an entrepreneur is like jumping off a cliff and trying to build an airplane on the way down. Okay? I've lived my whole life like that. Throwing myself off cliffs, no idea how to build an airplane, don't even know if I have the right parts. But I have to tell you, that's the choice that I make. That's my DNA. That's the way I always wanted to live. One day I was doing an interview with a news reporter, and I was sitting in a chair, and you know how you tilt your chair back on two legs, and you tilt it and you're balanced, then all of a sudden there's that moment where it starts to fall and you're waving all your limbs and you don't know if you're going this way or that way? I told the reporter I feel like that pretty much all the time. Okay? Never know which way it's going to turn out or which way it's going to go. But I want to just say something about risk and what is risk. And this is my editorial opinion, but you're going to hear from some people who took risks and how they dealt with it and how it turned out. I think that risk is the difference between a job and a life. I think it's the difference between good and being great. It's the difference between just working and getting through the day and looking back at your life and saying it was an adventure. That's what risk is. People that take risk, even though it doesn't work, I always tell people, even on my worst days and I get up and dust off the blood and broken limbs because I took a risk and I didn't build an airplane on the way down, I look around and I say, you know what? It's a lot better than the alternative. The alternative of staying in the center lane and coloring in the lines your whole life, it's just not living. So when I'm taking risks, even when I don't win, I feel alive. It's an adventure. There are stories to tell, right? So I think risk is that difference. It's the difference between, it will be the difference. I fundamentally believe this, between an average city in America that no one's ever heard of or a great city where people want to live. It's that people took risk to do something different, to make something better, to try something we don't know is going to work. So I always tell people that when somebody says, man, you're really lucky, your life seems like an adventure sometimes, I tell them, really, it's not. It's just somebody that wasn't afraid to take risks, wasn't afraid to jump off mountains when everyone else said, whoa, that looks dangerous. So we're going to talk tonight about risk. And we're going to talk tonight about the fact that if we don't take risks as a community, in our lives, in our jobs, in everything that we do, we don't grow, we don't achieve greatness, and we just have a life, right? We don't have an adventure. So let's start. Ian, if you want to introduce our first guest, we're going to interview some people tonight and talk about risk and ambiguity and how they dealt with it, and then we'll open it up to everybody. So thank you guys very much.
Let's hear for Jeff. Before I actually do our introduction, I do want to thank our sponsors tonight. Obviously, the University of Akron gave Excel the ability to do this, but we couldn't have done this tonight without Jumpstart, the Cleveland-based but now Akron-oriented accelerator and incubator for startups of all kinds. Incredible organization. Get to know them.
Is Tobin here so he can wave?
Tobin is. Tobin was the gentleman you all met when you came in. He's that large gentleman that you know would keep you safe in any riot.
There he is.
There he is. There he is. Tobin Buckner, everybody. Fantastic human being. And Akron native. And also UARF, the University of Akron Research Foundation. That's the University of Akron affiliated organization that also takes startups and helps take new ideas to market, helps ventures find capital. Fantastic organization. And without them, we could not be here tonight. And so our first guest is the creator of the room that we're all sitting in. He dreamed this place up about 10 years ago. He's going to tell you about his journey, but this man is, the difference between Tony and so many others is that when he has an idea, he makes damn sure it gets done. And we're all the beneficiaries for it in Akron. This city would not look the same without Akron born and bred Tony Tropy.